What is the explanation for the US government's use of 666? Are they unaware of the implications? Or do they just not care? They can choose any number? Why 666?
You're going to ask me 1,000 different questions, and they're all legit. I'm telling you, we're going to get this done. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter whether it's in 6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks. We're going to get it done. Why is it in 6 hours?
From the government's website congress.gov HR Bill 666. This bill establishes within the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, a national center on anti-racism and health and a law enforcement violence prevention program. Why would the CDC need a police force to combat racism? Sounds like a future bait and switch for enforcement. From the government's website congress.gov. HR Bill 6666. This bill authorizes the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, to award grants for testing, contact tracing, monitoring, and other activities to address COVID-19, i.e., coronavirus disease 2019. Entities such as federally qualified health centers, nonprofit organizations, and certain hospitals and schools are eligible to receive such grants. From the CDC website relating to a shielding approach. The shielding approach aims to reduce the number of severe COVID-19 cases by limiting contact between individuals at higher risk of developing severe disease, high risk, and the general population, low risk. High-risk individuals would be temporarily relocated to safe or green zones established at the household, neighborhood, camp/sector or community level depending on the context and setting. They would have minimal contact with family members and other low-risk residents. Did they just say camps? You mean like Australia? That no one hardly knows about in the US?
Just while you're here, can we just do that? Otherwise, the next time it's a $5,000 fine, and we don't want to do that.
It's a $5,000 fine if what?
If you breach again.
If I walk out onto that path.
Without your mask on, for no reason other than the laundry.
If I cross that yellow line,
saying that you've broken the rule.
That I've broken the rule, I will be issued with a $5,000 fine.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay. We could even do that now, but we're giving the warning first. Have a chat with you because it's a big fine. Rather just do the right thing, yeah?
But that's just a crazy conspiracy theory, right? How would they even implement a system that would restrict buying and selling? Maybe the conspiracy theory about the vax directly is a misdirection. Maybe that's the method for getting the public to willingly get microchips implanted. Those articles of doubt were about 6 months old, but these current ones are now. Were stories that introduce the vax microchips designed for predictive programming, designed to introduce the thought? How crazy would it sound a year ago if someone told you people are getting vax passports implanted? Will the vax passport eventually become a social credit score system? Supporters claim that the system helps to regulate social behavior, improve the trustworthiness of citizens, which includes paying taxes and bills on time, and promote traditional moral values. Is the technology, timing, and possibility to limit the buying and selling without this mark possible?
Don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to the ball game. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. You don't have the vaccine, can't come here. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's where I think we should be right now.
Ignorance is projecting the fact you are a good person on evil people. No one knows when God's return will be, but if you were Satan, what would you be doing?
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Make closed-minded people angry by liking, sharing, and joining the conversation below. P.S. I love you.